But we have a second game here for you. Eager, they're looking really good for LAN right now, but Kingdom could make it a little bit harder for them if they can answer.
So Eager, they have to get this win. Actually, they don't have to get this win because now they're currently 12-5.
Yes. They want this win.
They need this win, yes, because they don't want to be tied with Soar.
Yeah, if Eager win this, then Soar have to 2-0 them, right?
Yes.
Obviously, depending on if they win against Elevate.
If Soar 2-0s Elevate and Eager 2-0s Kingdom here, then everything's going to be the same as is, so it's going to matter that last Monday night match.
They want to have that, you know, kind of one-game edge, but the teams have switched sides. Eager going to be Order side. They're actually going to ban the Fafnir, so even though it did lose kind of the usefulness, especially with that synergy with Freya.
This also was that early mid-game team fight in the mid lane where Reacher found 2 early kills, which allowed Kingdom to get that early Gold Fury to begin with.
And Kingdom Esports is going to be banning the Robin and ban the Guan Yu again. So, I mean, Eager have always utilized that Guan Yu. Obviously, it's kind of still a ban. In console, it's definitely a high-tier pick, but specifically against Eager, who are the first team to run it religiously.
I would say Myflin pick up Susano here, just like I mentioned it right off the bat. With the Fafnir banned, a way that forced Kingdom's hand into the Guan Yu, which left Myflin with his high mobility Susano, not electing to go for the Ratatoskr yet again, but it didn't matter because it worked out for him beautifully that last time around.
TsmaII, though, he could look to explore playing the Ratatoskr. I don't think we've seen him on it yet. I know it was Toasty and one other person have been the only ones to play it so far. In the SCL here, could look for the support as well. They kind of have a lot of options, and it's kind of going to be centered around what style of game they want to play.
You know what else TsmaII played? He played Ymir solo lane for 1 week, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was against Most Wanted, actually.
You know what I want to see? An Ares solo lane. That's still...
There's only one player that can do that.
That's still an iconic game in my mind because Tier was untouchable, and you just like, yeah, but Ares though.
Ares though.
Did you win that game? I think you did.
I don't think I... Well, the reasoning why we were so successful, because it wasn't just the Ares. We had a hyper carry, at the time, hyper carry jungler like Thanatos to help us out as well. So by taking advantage of the Tier, it wasn't just Ares versus Tier, it was the 2v1.
And Eager here, they're going to be drafting under their core. They've actually picked up Neith, so once again, kind of that flex. Do they run it mid with Delta Marine? Do they put it in AirCougar's hand? And they got the Bacchus again, so obviously something Jellly is incredibly comfortable with.
Bacchus worked out the first game, going to work out the second game more than likely. Neith is a little bit of a flex. AirCougar known to play it. Sometimes he's been playing a lot of mages also into the dual lane.
He really likes the mages.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that Neith would go to Delta Marine.
And maybe a Soul or Freya. I don't know how his Freya is, but I know he's got a pretty good Soul here. Kingdom, they picked up the Chronos, so another little bit of a flex into the duo, possibly in an Isis. So we saw Isis pretty heavily in the early game, the early start to the season, but kind of fell off after Cloud stopped playing her. But I mean, still just a powerhouse when it comes to early game aggression.
That's the one guy that you really need to have if you're trying to get an early game aggressive composition strategy rolling. It's either the Isis or the Ryshan coming out of mid lane that you want to be able to control both mid Harpies, laning phases, invade maybe some back Harpies.
We're actually seeing no Ryshan.
Yeah, I was actually about to make that point. I looked at the ban screen, there's no Ryshan. Nobody picked Ryshan at all.
Even last game, I don't think he was banned.
Surprising.
Hey man, Ryshan's pretty good, but it is going to be the Soul picked up, so still ambiguity there. I think that's going to go to AirCougar, though. Do you think it's going to go? Want to have a bet on it?
I bet 200 gems that AirCougar is going to play Neith.
200 gems? 200
gems.
They don't let me give gems away because they feel I would abuse it.
I would abuse it.
So I have to buy you gems. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Chaac. Last pick. Into the Soul lane. Up against a Bellona. A little bit old school. Bellona kind of fell off for a little bit.
We haven't seen her very often because of the whole Cabracking, Robin style.
Damn it.
You owe me 200 gems.
Damn it. Now I got to contact support and see if they'll let me give you 200 gems. I don't want to pay for them. TsmaII, though, going to be paid with the first basic. Game over.
That's it. That's how you win games.
That's actually a rank strategy.
Yeah. Whoever gets the first in hand. All right, that's 4-3, 4-4. Ooh. All right, Dwurst.
He's got a back though. He's got to heal up.
Yeah.
What if he popped his potion on accident? Just hit like reaction.
That's the worst
like that's
feeling.
What you normally do.
Whenever you buy in the very beginning of the game and you're like spamming VGS for whatever reason, and then your hand slips from the V key to the C key.
Oh no! Look at this. Niqued's not going to be full health.
He's Chaac. He's all right.
He's not full health though.
He's Chaac.
Who knows?
His regen will be enough. Look at it.
What if he dies and like it's like
that 10 missing health.
It's like a 10 health overkill. It's game over. He'll probably actually heal before the camp spawn.
Yeah. I mean, at level 3, he'll get his heal anyway, so he'll be all right. With his passive, he'll never run out of mana. He'll never run out of health, especially with multi-pots. This is the beauty of Chaac. You don't need mana pots going into laning phase.
Yeah, he's got the... And that's kind of what most people do. Once they have that blue buff, they do have the multi-potions to kind of spare them here. Shenanigans abound. Both junglers actually going Wrath this time. So it seems like TsmaII saw how successful it was on Ratatoskr in Myflin's hand and actually decided to go it himself. So not going to be easy for either team to kind of pick up those early Gold Furies.
So for Hog meta specifically, if one team has it, then the other one has to kind of keep up the pace of the game. It allows you to get to the lane quicker right off the bat. With speed buff getting Wrath, you get to the mid lane, and right off the bat, Catalyyyst taking a lot of poke.
And TsmaII also very low from focusing kind of on those mid harpies, and Delta Marine, oh no, I actually think he missed the Stellar Burst, or maybe it was on cooldown there, but there is going to be the rotation over to those fire elementals, but this is a little bit worrying for Kingdom. They definitely wanted to have that early game aggression, but it's going to be hard forced to use their potions.
Having the Isis in the early game, not having purple pot, but he does have the Lost Artifact 1, so trying to get an early game advantage for Kingdom. Not getting anything there currently. He has to concede the left side mid harpies, but they did pick up the rights, it seemed, as well as the Fire Giant elementals.
And, you know, gold-wise, though, Kingdom have a very slight lead, 100 gold, so not too much there. AirCougar taking a lot of poke, and Reacher could have maybe looked for that pluck in that position, but couldn't get there in time.
A little risky trying to go for a pluck after the wave is coming closer to there. Jellly finding the double knockup, delaying the push out of Kingdom. And
yeah, actually doing a fair amount of damage to Despair as well, and minion advantage now back in favor of the Bacchus Neith. Always important, right? It's kind of underestimated and kind of hard to explain, but having that wave lead is very critical into the success of your dual lane.
Because you can use that to your advantage by body blocking, absorbing some in-hands, absorbing some abilities potentially as well.
Myflin there. I'm not sure if he stole the back harpies, but he was definitely at least looking to try and fight TsmaII, and he could look for a pull on Catalyyyst, and he's going to find it. Stormcloud is active, but a good Sanctuary. Catalyyyst there could have probably died if he didn't get that Sanctuary off in time.
And that's the scary thing about Susano always. Even if you're at your tower line, you're not really at your tower line because you're going to get pulled away from it instantly. You're going to take some more shots from Myflin just like that, and it's hard to lock him down. And that's why normally we see, you know, either Kabrakins or Odins against him, because you can't jet stream through the walls.
You've got to, you know, kind of stay alive as best you can here, and dual lane. It looked like Despair actually fought back into this. AirCougar could be in a little bit of trouble. You can see he's been poked out. I think his potions are a little low as well, but I don't really expect to see any kill potential here unless Jellly hits 5 maybe onto Despair.
I don't see any kills from either side unless Junglers makes the rotation over, especially onto AirCougar. He's just a Neith with Transcendence, having a lot of MP5, which will allow him to get off his Unravels for more sustain. And the only thing maybe is like they can kill Chronos as long as they try to do that before the rewind comes out.
Yeah, probably need to poke him down a little bit here. And Myflin, though, could look to set up a gank on this Isis. He knows the Sanctuary's down. They're going to have the Neith ult available, I think, in a couple seconds. Actually, it's already there. Instead, though, he's going to continue to try and steal away the speed buff here. TsmaII, I think Myflin found the Wrath to steal it, but it seems actually TsmaII got it, but he could be in trouble here. He's completely knocked up. There's first blood. A Delta Marine going to be able to get out of that Isis ult as well. Dwurst made the rotation to help keep Myflin alive, and Eager off to a solid start.
Beautiful Typhoon knock up into the Supernova, confirming so much damage with the Neith ultimate. There was no possibility for TsmaII to get up into the sky right away. Having that Wrath not allowing him to purify away from that chain CC combination. So despite confirming the speed, his own speed buff, he was first blooded.
And that's what it comes down to with this Wrath start. It is risky, and you can be punished for it. Obviously, you have, you know, the better setup. You have a stun in your kit, and you can guarantee your speed buff it gets invaded. Well, if you use it, and you know, you ain't got nothing to stop kind of those knockups, especially on Eager. They have a fair amount of initiation.
And the thing was, Eager on Myflin, he had his Wrath available, but he purposely didn't use it even.
I thought he had used it at first to try and secure it.
No, he purposely waited because he knew that TsmaII would potentially be around the corner anyway. So what he wanted to do was save his own Wrath for his own speed. Regardless of the success of invading the speed, whether or not he got a kill, there was just going to be a lot of guaranteed damage onto TsmaII. So he picks up speed and he dies. Better case scenario, he picks up speed and he barely gets away with the ultimate. Still a successful win for Eager.
And You can see actually level 5 on TsmaII. 5 minutes in, that's never good that your jungler is the lowest level in your game. And a little bit, I mean, TsmaII always seems to have these farming issues, right? He could team fight. He knows how to play team fights and engagements and ganks, but a little bit slow when it comes to experience gain.
Especially when it's on the Ratatoskr. That's not one god that you want to be behind with currently. You want to have those abilities as high level as possible. He's not really a utility god unless you're initiating with your ultimate and then you're disengaging right away anyway. With Nemesis, it's a little bit easier to play from behind. You know, you just use your ultimate. You can absorb cooldowns with your shields. You have the double dash for escapes. But Ratatoskr is a little bit more trickier.
Definitely want to get those items online as soon as possible. And he's got his acorn finish, so he's going to have a nice little boost from that. Despair just waving away at AirCougar.
Just saying what's up.
Despair's really good, man. I want to, like, Kingdom obviously, you know, they're out of everything, right? They're going to be forced to face off against relegation teams, you know, kind of soon. But we, like you said, the Kingdom roster has switched up immensely. I think, is there anyone still here? Catalyyyst and TsmaII. There's the only
and
two.
Catalyyyst are the only two from the week 1 roster.
Well, a gank on the right-hand side. Niqued, though, good ultimate from him. He's actually going to juke out the knock up there. Nice little turnaround to the right instead of walking to that left side.
Really nice play by Chaac, continuing to play this aggressive, forcing the rotations, as well as surviving this aggressiveness. We're going to have an invade on the blue. Meanwhile, Jellly being very annoying in the mid lane, doing a good job stalling to allow the Soul to get back into the lane to get all those minions before it enters the tower.
Oh, actually, Kingdom now going to be engaged on the Neith arrow, going to go on to Niqued, and Ratatoskr will get out, but no way Niqued survives this. There's the stun. Bludgeon actually off the mark, and Isis could keep him alive, but Jelly's ult will confirm Catalyyyst immune to knockups and is able to get away from the Bacchus.
With the sprint active, Igor continued to play very aggressive, but with this lurking in the water, it should slow Igor enough to allow Catalyyyst enough time to disengage, but there's nowhere to run for Reacher.
Absolutely brutal there. Reacher trying to peel the best he can, ends up falling himself, and Delta Marine's still able to chase out Catalyyyst. Sprint coming in really handy there, and Team Eager, they've got 4 kills here, maybe a 5th, but TsmaII should get away. Oh, Myflin diving deep. He's dead. What?
Just
what in
too aggressive. See, it's not even worth it.
That was a style play.
Because you're ahead currently, so you want to be more ahead. You don't want to give the lead back to your opponent, right?
And, yeah.
But when you're behind, I could see why you would try to make the kind of aggressive play under the tier 2 tower, because it's more beneficial to trade 1 for 1 if you're behind.
Also gets TsmaII on the board there. He was 2 levels down, and so that's probably going to be neutralized a little bit. Still, though, a 1K lead for Eager so far. Gold Fury hasn't been looked at. Blue buff stolen away.
Good job by Nick making the aggressive play, forcing out the rotation from the Soul. Going to use his ultimate just to deter a little bit, but Delta Marine is going to still stick onto it. Going to miss the Stellar
Nice
Burst, so
too.
that should allow Niqued a little bit more time to disengage.
Dwurst is doing his darndest there, but he's not going to be able to chase him down. And Niqued actually a 2-level lead on Dwurst once again. Man,
Look at that skin. Look at that Rocket Bellona skin.
It's actually really
I
sweet.
love it. When she uses the hammer, it's like a freaking... She's holding a car.
I know, man. I mean, she's a beastly woman. Her forearms are like thicker than your head.
You know who's beastly woman?
Terra.
Terra's a beastly woman.
Terra's arms are actually bigger than you, Tully.
I know.
And
I would still hollow.
And the answer back on the blue buff, though, it seems like Myflin's going to drop in, and they're actually going to leave... oh, no, I thought there was a small minion left open.
No, just making sure that they get all the experience. Now, sometimes you want to be that guy that leaves one little minion away. But either way you look at it, successful for Dwurst. A little bit behind though currently. Myflin going to get pulled away. Going to use the Typhoon defensively with the Neith ultimate onto Catalyyyst. It might buy enough time for Myflin to get away, especially with the speed buff.
And Myflin there actually jet streams into the wall, but still managed to get out of that one. And the Neith arrow probably is what helped him there. Dwurst, though, very low, should die. He's going to dash away. His ultimate still on cooldown for a little bit longer, so he's just going to get chased down, and it's really on to Niqued to just hit this axe for the guaranteed kill. Kobe.
And there you go.
Got him.
Got him. Unfortunately, Matumba was nowhere around.
Niqued's really good, man. Like this Kingdom lineup, if you look at them individually and kind of see how they play their lanes, they're so talented now. Picking up Despair, picking up Niqued, Catalyyyst and TsmaII kind of just doing their job, and then Reacher as well. You know, just kind of been working on support. But when it comes to the objective and team play, they've just been falling short.
Speaking of objectives, we do have Kingdom forcing out this goal here, but Jellly right in position. TsmaII gonna fall right away. Beautiful pickup from Myflin, and now the chase is on. Intoxicate onto 2, forcing Reacher and Catalyyyst disengage, and now Despair Despair left alone, forced to use the rewind. Myflin's a little low, so he's going to disengage in mid lane.
This is not that bad for Despair, though. He's got 2 targets. Oh, no. But he misses the time stop. Dwurst takes out Catalyyyst in the back line as well. The root's going to be off the mark. Despair doing his best job to juke, but it doesn't matter. Niqued has made the rotation in, so it's not going to be easy for Dwurst to pick up the Gold Fury, but they've already picked up a couple more kills.
Wrath currently available for TsmaII, so they could still steal this potentially. The ultimate is not available for TsmaII to make this rotation, though.
Niqued has no cares in the world, fighting 1v3. He's level 12. He's not too scared, but with an Neith arrow, he might have to be, and Dwurst actually seems to want the kill, but there's a quick heal, and now TsmaII could be answered back, but Dwurst not going to be able to find the last hit. And once again, though, Eager's still just up.
And they were doing a good job buying enough time for AirCougar to be solo split pushing in the dual lane with this red buff, getting the tier 1 tower and an extra wave. So Eager getting a very convincing lead early on despite not getting Gold Fury yet.
TsmaII gets his own speed buff, but he finds Myflin trying to invade. And the Typhoon seems to be forced, but it actually was canceled out. So ultimate offline for Myflin there. Definitely a small win for Kingdom.
They have to take advantage of this. They need to force a team fight. That's a huge area of effect ultimate that controls too much space, especially around Gold Fury. So Kingdom needs to group up, counter ward around this Gold Fury, which is exactly what they're doing, being able to pull up Jellly, but Jelly's just going to belly flop over the wall. But Catalyyyst, he could potentially find the CC chain.
Oh, and Jelly's in a little bit of trouble. He should pop his Intoxicate too, and he gets it on a couple members.
Despair
and Delta
falls.
Marine actually takes out Despair. Jelly still being, kind of chased around, but the issue is that Reacher isn't peeling for any of his own team, and now Catalyyyst forced to ult, but he's going to be knocked up. Jellly a little bit off the mark. That should be the damage. Belch to the gods finds the hit. TsmaII coming down, trying to peel for his mid laner, but he's going to be the one in trouble.
Dwurst making a nice rotation, finding a third onto TsmaII. The Sobek is going to fall, so that's 4 members Zed on the side of Kingdom. However, Nick finding Jellly on the front side. Myflin's a little low, but there are no cooldowns for Nick, so he has to buy a little bit of time. Beautiful jet stream, avoiding that axe.
Oh my, brutal. Team Eager somehow wins that fight. I mean, that looked like a nice pick, or a chance for a pick for Kingdom, but I mean, Reacher kind of, instead of peeling for his own team, is chasing down Jellly by himself. Catalyyyst gets isolated, Despair gets isolated, TsmaII trying to peel for his team under the tower, but because of that, he uses his dash. Dwurst able to take him out with a big hammer bludgeon at the end, and then even finding a second kill.
Chronos and Kali are the 2 guys that you cannot die with your ultimates. You have to be able to get those off before
it's all about
dying.
timing too.
It's the timing, like we mentioned, the first game, those 3 kills into 3 towers, and now because of the Chronos dying with rewind, that allowed Eager to clean up everybody else because they dumped a lot of cooldowns onto the Chronos.
Eager at least not able to get too much off of it. They got the tower. Now about a 3,000, actually 4,000 gold lead for them. 12 minutes in. That's going to start to get brutal. You could see these, second and third items coming out. Soul with 4 kills now has the demonic grip online.
Just trying to be very patient, looking for these pick opportunities. You have Myflin go in, finding the pull, getting his damage off, and resetting on top of that. TsmaII already at half health off of those 2 abilities.
I mean, he's got a heal in his kit, but still, it's not going to be too easy. And now Dwurst going in. Oh, actually dashes the Spirit Ball. Dwurst could be looking for an ult follow-up here, and it's going to be Jellly the first to engage. Dwurst just holding for now, and they're going to force out the circle protection. But I mean, Catalyyyst is in the middle of people he does not want to be in.
Not at all. There's no tier 1 tower for him to go to. He went the wrong way, getting isolated from his team, completely going underneath instead of up top to his tier 2 tower. And with that, Eager has the control with a 1-player advantage, but they don't have Wrath for another 14 seconds, so they have to respect the fact that TsmaII could potentially steal this.
He's got his ult as well, and a knock-up. 6 more seconds for Myflin's to be online. And look at this, Eager gonna try and go for it. And Myflin, he's gonna be able to come down, but the Gold Fury's already secured in the way of Eager. In the back line though, Delta Marine takes out TsmaII, trying to force a fight. And now Reacher's trying to get it as well. Niqued doing his best to pressure the back line. Could actually find a kill onto AirCougar, 1 health, but he has no chase potential on the Chaac. And now he's gonna be the one in trouble. But now he's fine.
Delta Marine gonna buy a little bit of time. Beautiful purification from Despair, but he doesn't have rewind available to him, so he's gonna get chased down by Jellly. Stellar Burst gonna confirm that Nick leaving Despair to die. That's so unfortunate that TsmaII was just a little bit too late on that initiation with his ultimate. The Wrath wasn't available for Myflin quite yet.
Yeah, you're up so long as Myflin. Trying to find Catalyyyst, he's fine. They could actually look for Reacher, but it's going to be hard to kind of fight into this Chaac. He's pretty beefy right now. He's got his breastplate online. And Myflin is just trying to get as much poke off as possible kind of in these situations.
He's kind of flirting with death currently against the level 14 Chaac. You don't really want to be diving him, especially with all that physical defense on the side of Breastplate of Valor, working into more physical defense on top of having meditation and his own self-sustain.
Oh, well, they're still going to try and poke him. He's fine. Actually, he absorbs the Neith ult, but he's forced to use his own in response. AirCougar has not been hitting his arrows today. Normally, he's pretty on point with the Spirit Arrow.
I mean, some days you're on, some days you're off. As long as your team, you make the correct plays and you make the right positioning. Now, even though you might not hit the Spirit Arrows, as long as you're not putting yourself in a position to die, because we saw the last game specifically, the Freya was just constantly putting herself in a little bit awkward positioning. Now, she was doing a lot of damage early game, getting the confirmed hits and kills, but her positioning was just a little bit off the mark in the later stages.
And Catalyyyst kind of suffering from that too. He's going to get picked off. AirCougar, one day he'll hit a Spirit Arrow, but not today, says Reacher, as he jukes it out. And it seemed on the right side of the map, we actually see TsmaII forced to ult away from the Bellona. That's going to be a tier 1 on the right-hand side. And Reacher's going to be looking to engage. Jellly jumping out here, but the problem is Despair taking so much damage. The rewind, oh, it barely got off. I thought he was dead there.
Beautiful Spirit Arrow into the broken weave. Now we have initiation from Niqued, silencing out a couple members from Eager, and now more slows coming out. But Niqued is caught in an awkward position, not having a distance cape, but AirCougar off the mark yet again.
Oh, he's pretty healthy for now. He should be fine. Dwurst has made the rotation, just going to deal with Niqued in the back line as TsmaII's looking for the kill onto Jellly. Instead, it's going to go to Despair, but Despair might have overstayed his welcome, manages to juke the Supernova, and then gets a time stop on 2. This is huge for Kingdom. Here comes the rotation as well from Catalyyyst. TsmaII, he picks up a double kill, and now Dwurst is rotating in, but he gets stunned out of his bludgeon, flung back into the team. Reacher going to find the slow, and he should fall here, but he pops his sprint, and he's going to be running.
Trying to catch up. TsmaII should be able to find this. He does have the speed buff available. Catalyyyst should be able to follow this up, so Dwurst going to fall underneath. We do have the rotation from Reacher, but it looks like the ISIS is just going to try to chase down another kill. Instead of going for these objectives, Kingdom needs to not chase this kill.
And I mean, this is, oh, no. I mean, this is one of the most mobile gods in the game.
Yeah, you don't want to be fighting a Susano that's level 13 if you don't have any health or physical protection. Some defense, like Cloud, for example, he'll love to run Warlock Sash on his ISIS, for example.
Or Winged Blades or
anything. And we look at the build coming out of Catalyyyst. He's going for a more Glass Cannon style. Reacher going to fall to Myflin, yet again complemented with that World Weaver. So yet again, Eager finding these kills, and more important than not, they're not losing objectives whenever they're dead.
Yeah, it's just Kingdom can't seem to get everything together, and right now Catalyyyst 0-6-3. I mean, and he's going for penetration. At this point, he has to build defense, right? And it's one of those things where, you know, you want to do more damage because you're behind, but you are just dying without getting off any damage in the point you're at now in the game.
At this point, you might as well go Breastplate of Valor, honestly.
Yeah,
you're
just
getting
max your CDR, survive a little bit longer.
Yeah, you're going to get World Weaver. You're going to have Bellona and the Susano dive you constantly. There's no way you can really disengage from that. You can buy time in your ultimate and maybe a Sanctuary, but at the end of the day, you need a little bit of health and physical protection. Even TsmaII has picked up Breastplate of Valor.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a jungler. But the issue is now that no one has damage on Kingdom because Niqued's built it to Mystical Mail. There's a breastplate on the Ratatoskr. Catalyyyst is a free kill every time. Obviously, Reacher, you know, he's a support, so he's gone into tanky style, and a Dynasty Plate helm coming out for the Chronos as opposed to kind of that max damage build we saw in the last game once Eager had him.
It's up to Despair and Niqued to find the damage on the side of Kingdom. It's going to get mitigated quite heavily by the shell from Jellly currently, as well as being very tanky with 3 Height of the Urchin stacks currently. And I like the Ritual Dagger that he picked up as well, trying to synergize a little bit more with that sprint and the shell.
Yeah, I mean, it was good relic pickups, and TsmaII going to be picked up too. Dashes straight into Jellly, and now actually a fling it back, and it seems like Myflin wants to chase this. Catalyyyst gets knocked up, and he'll be chased down as well. Jellly looking for a little bit more damage. The circle protection is popped, and that's going to dissuade Eager from diving into the Phoenix, but not from diving into Despair. Delta Marine finds his 9th kill of the match.
Beautiful pickoff yet again. 2 early kills for Eager. They should be able to get this tier 2 tower once some minions enter, but it looks like the minions were staggered a little bit. Goldfury has respawned, so that's exactly where they're headed to.
Sol, though, actually going to the opposite side of the match, just trying to see if there's any jungle camps he can pick up or steal away. He's got the most damage in the game as well, 17,000, but because he's not with the team, this Goldfury is going to be a little bit slower. Maybe Reacher can recognize it in time.
Well, Eager does have the Wrath, so it doesn't. Even if somebody was available, they would need TsmaII to be there.
I mean, he could have reset it maybe, though, like a knock-up. I mean, it's not that easy, but... Goldfury, Team Eager's favor, 20-7 in kills. Now about a 7 to 8,000 gold lead, and Niqued, I mean, he's got the most damage on his team right now, but he has trouble chasing down and kind of confirming any kills on these low health targets. Myflin now actually trying to stay alive. Dwurst getting piled on by 3, but a pretty tanky Bellona, and Delta Marine's going to be fine.
So the issue between this game and the last game for Kingdom is they were still very even in kills. They just weren't able to get the objectives after the kills. But this game, they're just behind in every category imaginable. And Eager, they're not letting go of the gas pedal. Any opportunity they get, they roll with it right away.
One of the hardest things about Kingdom being behind here is that Eager actually have such a good composition of poke, and now the Spirit Arrow is on the mark. Despair, once again, dying with his ultimate, can't get it off in time, and Myflin to the back line, dealing with 3. He's going to be pretty mobile. He'll be able to get out. Niqued, the shining star of Kingdom, and I mean, he's the second to fall, and I mean, Eager, I mean, this is going to be a cleanup.
The issue was Chaac had no magical defense. That Supernova did so much damage off of the chain CC combination. Reacher being the 3rd victim, TsmaII the 4th, and more than likely Catalyyyst is going to fall after the Stellar Burst, but a beautiful Sanctuary, but going to get chased down. That's going to be a D-side. Tier 2 tower falls. Second game going into Eager's favor.
That one a lot cleaner for Eager there. Got off to a really good start, had the first 4 kills, and then Kingdom kind of just falling behind. The ISIS really suffering there, not able to survive the burst. And once you got a little bit behind, we saw how deadly that immobile mage could be.
It's just the issue with Kingdom. They're not able to find the necessary objectives after the kills game 1, and then game 2, Eager finally picked up the pace. Now Eager getting those 2 games, separate themselves with a 3-game lead ahead of Soar.
And Soar now, they're going to be facing off against Elevate up next. They need a single win, right? Winning 2 doesn't matter to them because they still have to 2-0 Soar on that final day, but Soar need a single game to at least have a chance here to make land. Most Wanted are already secured, and Eager looking very strong.
They are looking very strong. AirCougar specifically onto the Neith the second game. Yeah. He was, even though, like you mentioned, there were some missed routes early on, he was still making a huge impact in the game, finding the necessary in-hands. He was always putting himself in a position where he could get these in-hands off without dying, whereas Kingdom side, all their hyper carries were just dying one by one.
I think it's just positioning, right? And that's one of the things about, you know, top-level hunters is that they don't necessarily always need to be hitting their abilities or their basics as long as they're in a position where they're not going to die and can get that, you know, consistent damage off to anyone diving them.
And the more important thing, we don't see it here, but like when he was split pushing on the left-hand side alone with that red buff while the rest of his team was just doing a good job buying time in the mid lane and solo lane, that allowed his team to just really snowball as well because there was no Goldfury on the side for Eager. They got the tower and that's it.
We saw that fight right there. He takes almost no damage, right? He got dove in the back line, just steps out. He walks into the Ice Assault, steps back real quick, doesn't take anything, switches between the tower, gets that ult off onto Niqued as well to help keep his Susano alive, and then goes to the tower. Just very consistent hunter play, and that's what you need sometimes. As long as someone cannot die in a lot of situations, right? You don't need them to carry.
You just need to have that utility hunter sometimes in the early to mid game. If we saw him transition in the late game specifically, we would have seen a different style completely.
Well, that's going to be it for now here. Let's take a quick look at the schedule and see what's up next. Most Wanted versus Noble, and we're going to be closing out with Soar taking on Elevate. They need 1 win.
That's going to be a very important match for Soar. They need that 1 win.
And just a reminder, guys, SWC hi-rez Expo, it's going to be coming once again to the Cobb Energy Center January 5th through 8th. You can buy your tickets now at hi-rezexpo.com. They are on sale, so make sure to get them early before they sell out.
I'm going to go right now.
You're going to go right now?
Yeah, I'm going to go log on.
Yeah, we actually didn't give Tully a ticket. We're forcing him to buy his own.
That's why I didn't go to DreamHack. I couldn't afford DreamHack, but I could afford this one.
DreamHack tickets. All right, guys. We'll be back. The first match is over. We'll have another one up just shortly.